Welcome to Signs Unscripted. I'm Robin Donovan, Signs of the Times editor-in-chief, and with me today is
Simon Nussbaum from Green Dot Sign in St. Paul, Minnesota.
And so, Simon, thanks for being here. Your big claim to fame is that you are one of Signs of the Times 2020 Makers of Tomorrow. So congratulations.
Thank you. It's quite an honor.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that makes it really exciting is that you and I are going to actually have a chance to meet at the upcoming ISA Sign Expo, provided that that's still going on.
Yeah. I certainly hope that the coronavirus stuff doesn't impact it, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person there and talking to some vendors and stuff like that too.
Yeah, definitely. I have the same hope. We did get a press release from ISA saying that it is, but I just see things kind of changing and developing all over the place. So fingers crossed. So more importantly, Simon, tell us about your company.
Sure. Green Dot Sign is a manufacturer of eco-friendly ADA and other interior signage. We do have other products that are under development right now, but our real focus is on offering signage that's not based on using plastic as its primary input. So trying to reduce our carbon footprint and just give people an option to spec out their building in a way that's maybe a bit more environmentally responsible.
One thing that I noticed is that you had been to Greenbuild, I think, as an exhibitor. Is that right?
Yep, we exhibited at Greenbuild in 2019.
And that's pretty unusual for a sign company.
Yeah, we were definitely the only sign company there. One of the things about our product, if you kind of rewind the clock, I've been in the sign industry for a long time, ran a traditional sign company. Basically, I bought a franchise in 2009 that was in the toilet and was lucky enough and putting in enough work to kind of turn that around. But along the way, I kind of realized that everything we were putting into it wasn't necessarily the best type of material in the world. So I really wanted to make something that was more sustainable. So after I sold that business, I put about a year into developing a product that reduced plastic by about 99%.
And so what is it?
Traditional. Yeah, so basically what we do is we 3D print directly to a wood substrate. It lets you have a background that's a natural wood color, or you can do some pigment that lets the grain still shine through, and then the raised characters are directly on top of that. So it's an ADA compliant sign that doesn't use plastic as its base, and there's no machining or adhesives. The waste products are not plastic that's going to end up in a landfill. When I showed that to people, the first thing they said is, you should try to get this to contribute to LEED credits, which is what green build is all about.
Right.
We showed it to people who are in the green building profession, and they were excited, but they kind of said to do it, you have to jump through a lot of hoops and make sure that everything that you're doing is kind of meets certain criteria, which the more that we learned about it, the more we were like, hey, we should be doing this anyhow. So it ranges from product transparency to sourcing the wood from an FSC forest. What that means is the Forest Stewardship Council certifies the forest for how it's managed, and then every company that processes it along the way, including us, has to be a chain of custody certified company, so we can trace the wood to the forest in the UP in Michigan. It's a neat thing, and all those things kind of contribute to LEED credits along the way, and that's why they're at Greenbuild.
Yeah, and so if folks haven't been to Greenbuild, I don't know that a lot of sign industry people have. I actually have in the context of covering retail design, interior design. So it's basically a sustainable product for interior design and construction. So there'll be glass and there'll be low VOC paint and just all sorts of different sustainable types of things. So I was surprised to see that you had been there. I thought, how cool. One of the questions that people always ask about products that are sustainable alternatives is about cost. Is there a cost difference between what you're providing? And if so, how do you kind of overcome that with folks?
Right now, we are making every effort to be the same price or even a tad bit lower than other professional level ADA signage. So, within any product, there's a big range. And we're not going to compete with a men's restroom sign that's made in China and shipped over here. But when it comes to locally manufactured, when I say locally, I mean within the United States, manufactured products, we should be right in line with everybody. That's our goal.
Very cool. Sustainability has come to the sign industry a bit slower than in some other industries, but I was kind of curious about your impression of that, and because you're kind of, you're surrounded by more of that. Do you think I'm wrong about that, or how do you feel about the sign industry and sustainability?
Well, I think about this a lot, for obvious reasons, I guess. And I think what you have is a lot of, product innovation and material innovation comes from the same set of big companies. And then your sign companies, I think, tend to be very innovative in terms of how to make an awesome looking sign, or how to install a sign that's difficult to install, or what have you. So there's a lot of creative juice from the sign manufacturers in that area, but they're kind of using tools from bigger companies. If you're a vinyl manufacturer, it's not necessarily in your interest to come up with something besides vinyl. But, once you kind of know what PVC is and you do a little bit of research on that, it's not the best material in the world.
It's not pretty.
We shouldn't be using it. And that's, my personal opinion, obviously, but it's kind of a fact if you do the research that there's better stuff out there. Mm-hmm. So, it's a tough one. And, signs have to be durable. They have to be custom. There's a lot of constraints in terms of what you're able to use. So I'm hoping that we can kind of change that as an industry. It's time. We've got the will, we've got the way. So, if everybody were to think about it or make it part of their decision-making process a little bit, I think that we can do amazing things.
And so, following that line of thought, what are some things that you think sign companies could do who are not as sustainably focused as you, but who want to improve their processes? What could they do? Like, what are some easy wins that they could accomplish?
There's some really simple things. So if you in your inventory, you've got foam core and you've got PVC board, take a look at stuff like the Eagle Cell brand, to replace foam core. Take a look at stuff like Scooter board to replace PVC. There's stuff out there where you don't have to change what you really do in-house, but if you were to just target one thing every quarter and start to give your customers those options and explain this is why you're doing it, I think that anybody can do that. And maybe everybody should do that. Foam core basically has foamed polystyrene inside of it, just like a styrofoam cup. So when you get rid of it and you put it in the trash, it becomes something that just fills up a landfill. And there are options out there, but I think that a lot of people, it's running a sign company. Things are moving fast all the time. You're trying to save a penny and stuff like that all the time too. So I get it, and I know it's hard to fit that into your schedule, but just look at the options that are out there from all of your current vendors and maybe start to incorporate those.
Very cool. So Simon, we are about out of time. How can people connect with you online? Like, what's the best way to learn more about you and your company?
Sure. So if you check out our website, that's www.green.sign.com, green.sign.com. You can get a bunch of information on what we do. You can see our products and a lot of pictures, or feel free to send an email to info@green.sign.com. We can start a conversation.
Cool. And just to clarify for people, the company name is Green Dot, so you're spelling out green.sign.com. In case that's not clear. Yeah. And if you'd like to meet Simon in person, he'll be receiving his 2020 Makers of Tomorrow award at booth 235 at ISA on Friday of the show at 3:30. So Simon, thank you so much for coming on. It's a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thanks, Robin. Have a great day.